Hey everybody, this is my video log 5. This is taking place in Statesboro, Georgia, where I just came to today. So bear with me. I have got a lot of other readings and I put them in my notes this past week and kind of felt that it was a strong subject with mobility, considering when I was younger, I had a best friend from the time I was in kindergarten to the time I was in about fifth grade who was disabled, and this was always a big thing with me um, because I was always the one in class to volunteer to push him around in his wheelchair and actually be a friend to him when kind of other people may have picked on him or shunned him out. Um, I feel like that was when I first started seeing the type of things with mobility and that type stuff. Um, so a couple of questions I have for today's vlog. Uh, One out of Robertson Rosenwald. Do you believe that you get a different behavior from students who come to college as a first generation student than a student who has parents that have already attended college? This kind of went back to um, when we were talking about first generation students earlier on in the year. I thought it was interesting in the Robertson Rosenwald where he was talking about how people sometimes leave their friends back from college and how they, um, when they're a first generation student, they actually come and they give um, advice to their siblings, which is very good. So my answer to that question kind of would be, um, I do think it's different. I think first generation students try harder because they know that this is not a free just payment of knowledge because their parents never had it. So they're going to work their butt off in order to achieve what their parents never did. Um, Maybe some of these college students, not all, but some of these college students whose parents did go, um, maybe kind of explain the party life to them or the situations of what not to do. But I think that turns on students to do that even more once they get to college because they're out of their household, they're out of that rooftop that their parents own. I also put underneath that question, do they treat the ones that they leave behind differently? Um, and I really liked what he said about first year generation students and siblings, um, how they kind of mentor the younger and kind of build them up so they don't have to be, so they can be the leader in their family and not have to be a first generation student because they've already attended it and they can tell them where to go and how to actually act while they're in school and how to study and that type of stuff. My second question was, do you believe that some disabled people consider themselves able because of the discrimination that may come with being disabled? Um, this was out of the Shakespeare text. Uh, I really feel like this is a good one too. Sometimes you see, I had a wheelchair basketball player actually one time tell me that he wasn't disabled. He just had he just had roller legs, and which was really cool to me because he wanted to be he wanted to be considered just like everyone else, and didn't want anybody to think about him being in a wheelchair. Um, and I don't think that it's based on the discrimination part because I think he was the type that wanted to be socially accepted, but he didn't look for it by saying that he wasn't disabled. Um, Now, some people I have come in contact with have kind of said, I'm disabled, but I don't act like it. And I think those people are kind of shy towards the discrimination part because they think they're getting judged right offhand if they're in a wheelchair or if they have some kind of mental condition. We never know with that how they will take it, so we got to be kind of careful and tread lightly and also accept them as people. They're just like me and you. And that came out of the social model, and it says it focuses on the disability as a relationship between people with impairment in the discriminatory society. My third question is, disabled people are socialized to think of themselves as inferior. How in your future job in higher education can you show them that they are the same as an able person? This was one of my big things when I was at Georgia Southern. I actually helped start the wheelchair basketball league here at Georgia Southern. We got wheelchairs that actually were made for it, and able people could also play. So this kind of brought down the level and showed these maybe physically impaired people that they are the same. They saw how much of a struggle it was for these able people to get in a wheelchair and have to do things while they're in this wheelchair. So it shows that if they weren't disabled, that they could do just as much as the other person could do. So I think that it does really help in college, especially to show those people that they are the same as us and that they can do all the same things and they're just as qualified as we are to be there. I think that's a huge thing, to actually not segregate them away, but to actually bring them to. Sorry, my sister's calling me. But I think that brings everybody together. So I hope these questions helped. I hope to hear back some good responses, and I will see y'all in vlog 6. Thanks.